This is Heston, Kansas, a small, quiet town you'll find about 30 minutes north of Wichita. It has many great amenities such as its multiple parks, fun nature, a golf course, and its plethora of small businesses.
And that last one, small businesses, is more important than you might think. I mean, in a small town like Heston, a small business attracts everyone. At the time of writing this, there's about 3,500 people, and for a good chunk of my life, I was one of those people, and I remember all the small businesses, especially one restaurant in particular.
So what is it? What is the magical place in question? It's Scoops, baby! That number doesn't work anymore. It was a 50s themed diner with amazing food and a dazzling aesthetic. Opened by Ken Welsh in 2004, Scoops was the closest thing we had to a time machine. The walls were lined with old toys and props and random things. Even the front end of a vintage car was coming out of the wall, and the jukebox, it was always playing classic hits from that time.
Now, you may be wondering, why make this about a small little restaurant that was in your hometown that not a lot of people know about? Well, to me, this was more than just a silly little restaurant. It shaped my childhood, and I have so many memories of this place. And it was more than just a place for good food and amazing ice cream and all these things. It's been one of the few places in Heston that's helped bring the community together. And some of the stories you'll hear in this film will really showcase how it did that and how it also changed other people's lives as well. So let's find out the story about this wonderful restaurant from who better than the owner himself that I just so happen to know very well.
I'm Ken Welsh. I was the owner of SKOOPS restaurant in Heston, Kansas. We moved to Heston in 1995, and I actually was going to purchase a laundromat. So I started a laundromat in Heston, and I run it a few years, and then I was renting the building, and then I decided that I wanted to get my own building. I purchased another building, moved the laundromat, and in the meantime, this company had a store that had closed and was trying to sell me the building, so I really didn't want it, but they kept coming back offering me really low prices, so I ended up and bought it as an investment. So then I had to figure out what to put in it. So that's when I come up with the idea, a nice little fast burger restaurant. There was a Sonic in town, but I decided that this was going to be completely different. I set it up as a 1950s restaurant. And so I had all the 50s paraphernalia in there, a big deal with Elvis on the wall, and I had a 55 Pontiac hanging on the wall that I used. So when our orders were done, the cook could just push a button and the lights would blink and the horn would honk and they could come and pick up the orders. But it was quite an ordeal getting it started. It takes a lot of work to start even a small restaurant. When it first started, I did have a partner, which I bought out about 3 months after we started. He just wasn't interested in it. Anyway, I got the menu all together and everything, which was quite a challenge to figure out what to do and still offer a good variety. We opened the store in 2004, January of 2004. It was absolute success right off the bat. The very first month, first week we run out of food. I had no idea we would have that type of response. So we really beefed up the food, and the first month with 3 times more than we had anticipated on doing our first month open. Business just kept progressing, and we built quite a business there.
And before he knew it, Scoops was taking off in popularity. I mean, everyone was going to sit down, even people from towns and towns over. They needed to come here. It was a huge hit. Now, knowing my papa, with the rising popularity of Scoops, he knew he needed to do something to capitalize off this random influx of people. In comes the sock hop.
We started I started doing car shows because I had a lot of car groups that would stop in there, like on a Saturday, on a cruise day, and they asked me if I would maybe put on a car show sometime for them. So I thought, well, that might be a good idea. I got a hold of some people out of Wichita and Hutchinson that had car groups. So we decided to have a car show. We had quite a few groups that came, and our very first one, we had over 100 cars there. And I think that part of the reason that it was so successful the first time out was we gave away hot dogs and ice cream and prizes, and anybody that entered the car show got a free meal. So we really had a lot of cars for the very first show, and it went on every year, got bigger and bigger. And part of the reason I wanted to do it too was I was kind of a car buff myself. I had a 58 Ford retractable and a Corvette and everything, and I kind of followed with those guys. I related to them real well, and so I put that on, and I did it for every year I had it from there on out. Oh, we had several little deals that we did. We have a hula hoop contest, and the winner of the hula hoop contest would win $50. We had guess the beans in the jar. We had the best dancing poodle skirt contest. It was quite an ordeal, and it got bigger every year. We just kept adding more and more stuff every year, and in fact, it was almost getting too big. You was talking about stress. It started to get stressful. So, but I sure enjoyed it.
With the sock hop being a huge success and the still growing popularity of Scoops, it was no surprise that Papa won Businessman of the Year in 2008 by the Chamber of Commerce here in Heston. The place had quality and quantity at the forefront of their business. I mean, the little things like making the shakes out of actual ice cream and even giving kids free ice cream just shows that Papa really cared about the community, and that means a lot. It's like everyone that came into the restaurant was family to him. I mean, even when the whole town lost power.
Yes, we had, I believe it was like in 2008 or 2009, we had a real bad ice storm, and the whole town lost its power. Scoops, my restaurant, and the hardware store was the only two that had power in the whole town, and nobody could really explain why, but I guess it was an act of God, because I had to feed a lot of people. So people came there, and I mean, we was just packed all day long, and even through the evening, I kind of left the building open for people that had, didn't have heat or anything. And so we got through that okay, but it sure was, that was stressful there. I had a generator just in case to run my freezers and everything, because I didn't want to lose all my food and ice cream. But in 3 days, we were completely out of food. I mean, it was just, it was quite a deal.
Hey, what's up? The microphone broke. So after that amazing act of kindness by Papa. It seemed that Scoops was the center of Heston outside the town hall. I mean, everyone knew what it was. Everyone went there to eat or even just to, like, hang out. It seemed that life was perfect. That is until the whole place just lit on fire one day.
That was just a terrible night. I got a call about midnight, and they said my store was on fire. I went down there, and the fire trucks and that was all there, and I just couldn't do anything. I just sat down at the curb and just felt terrible because I had put a lot of work into this thing, and to watch it just go up in flames.
So just like that, Papa's precious Scoops was gone.
I specifically remember being sad I couldn't get ice cream, and I was like, what happened? But looking back on it now, I can't imagine the sadness it must have brought to my Papa.
Oh, but if there's one thing I know about Heston, it's that they come together with pretty much anything, and when disaster strikes, they make something beautiful out of it.
Like this hill I'm standing on right now is made out of trash from the F5 tornado that essentially destroyed the entire town back in 1990. And it just shows that when disaster strikes, they know how to rebuild and do something amazing out of it. Like, it would have taken months to rebuild Scoops, but with the help of everyone that got involved, I mean, they got it back up super fast. And that's just a real testament to the community and the aspects of family that run in this town.
I waited, they got the fire and that all out, and the next morning I went down there, and there was a lot of damage, terrible smoke damage. It didn't ruin the structure so much. It did burn out a couple walls, and so anyway, my insurance guy came down there, and they got going on it right away. And I was really fortunate because I fed a lot of the contractors there in town, and they wanted to get me up and going as fast as possible. Yeah, it was really heartwarming. The community really kicked in. Everybody come in and helped do a lot of things. We got a estimate on the building and everything, and it was quite a bit of money to repair it. But these contractors that lived there in town and come in, and a job that was supposed to take roughly 11 to 12 weeks, we had it up and going again in 5. Oh. And that was all thanks to the contractors and everybody there that got together.
Now, if I wanted to keep this a magical and happy story, I would end the film now. You know, everything seemed to be going fine, but life isn't like that. And Papa's Scoops era was nearing an end. I mean, for my whole life, he's always had random health issues. I mean, even while writing and filming this, he had surgery for a blocked artery. I don't know what number that is, but he needed to make a choice around 2011, 2012-ish. Either keep working himself to death at Scoops or retire and stay healthy. So what did he do? Well,
that's really a hard question, because when you go to the doctor and they tell you got cancer, that automatically is tough. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, you know, I with all the businesses that I had, I also had like 8 laundromats at the same time I had this. And it was just getting to be too much. And when I was diagnosed with my bladder cancer, I just decided it was time to get rid of some of the businesses. I was approaching retirement age, and so I decided that I was going to start maybe selling off some of my laundromats and Scoops also. So But I sold some of my laundromats first, and I hung on to Scoops because it was really my pride and joy. I enjoyed it. Like my wife said, I gave away more ice cream to the kids than I sold, but that was the fun of it. And I run it another year or so after the fire and my diagnosis, and then all of a sudden I had a heart attack, and I had to have open heart surgery. So that really defined my decisions to go ahead and sell Scoops, and I sold all my laundromats. I just retired. I wanted to kind of enjoy life a little bit for a few years, so that's what I did. I just sold everything out, and actually we moved. My wife and I moved to Phoenix stayed there for 8 years.
Now, I don't really remember his diagnosis or at all or anything that really happened, but I just remember him talking about how he's got to sell Scoops. What? No free ice cream? I was so mad, but I was old enough at that point to where I understood that, oh, hey, Papa was sick. Something's wrong with his heart. He's got to chill out for a bit. And I was okay with that. So, just like that, Heston entrepreneur legend Ken Welsh retired, selling Scoops. What?
I still see people today that say, or every time they see me, they say, "Did you come back to buy Scoops?" They always say, "Well, it just isn't the same without you there," and that was heartwarming, but I just couldn't do it. As far as shaping who you are, you're pretty well shaped by the time you're in your 20s. It's just you just got to follow your dreams. I guess that's my main thing. I was an entrepreneur. I just wanted to do everything, and so that's why I ended up with so many laundromats and everything like that. And that was a success for me too. The laundromats. It just come time to retire, and I had to get rid of them. My wife and I have traveled all over the world. We've been to 80, 90 countries. We've done 25 cruises. We just like to travel.
And it's all from those humble beginnings.
That's right.
Humble beginnings.
That's right.
To this day, I still meet people that remember Scoops. Sometimes it's people that aren't even from Heston, and they rarely know that I'm related to Papa. But I'm always elated to say that, I know that guy. I'm just so proud. I look up to him and my Nana. I wish I could make a 5-hour-long documentary. Scoops was just a part of my life, and it was only until recently that I really saw what it meant to my family and everyone, which is why I made this film. The idea that one simple little place can bring so much genuine joy to the people involved is beautiful. But it also taught me a valuable lesson. The greatest things in life, it doesn't matter how happy they make us, will always come to an end. As a kid, I thought it would last forever, but it's a different restaurant now, and I'm okay with it. So I hope, if anything, this film, this short story of my Nana and Papa motivates you to make memories, to learn, to love people. Thanks for watching.
I was tempted